Now, here in the UK, junior doctors in England have walked out for the second day of industrial action over pay and working conditions, which they say endanger patients' safety. The unions are demanding a 35% pay rise to make up for years of below-inflation increases. However, the government has called these demands unrealistic and says that serious talks can't take place until that figure is dropped. For more on this, I'm joined by Talha. He's a GP currently working for the National Health Service and the author of Take a Deep Breath, Diary of a Junior Doctor During the COVID Pandemic. Thank you so much, Dr. Sami, for joining us here on the programme. You're currently not protesting, but how do you feel about the current strikes?
Look, I think there are polemics to this whole situation. I feel in the coverage that we've had during these strikes and the last strikes, the government has been placed on one side and the junior doctors placed on another. Look, there are shades of spectrum within this, and I think maybe some of the interviews that you guys have done with junior doctors have covered that. One doctor said, I don't want to strike, but I have to, and I'm doing it for patient safety. In regards to myself, if I can give a personal example, look, firstly, I'm a GP, so I can't strike. Secondly, even when the strikes happened last time, I chose not to strike. Now, look, for me, this is a personal reason. It's a reason of faith. I'm an Ahmadi Muslim, and for us, our leadership has told us, do not strike, you will cause harm. But if we look at the past 10 years, we can see that pay has decreased.
Could you just explain that a little bit more? When you say harm, what do you mean? Because you can't tend to patients' needs.
Exactly. I mean, look, let's go to the winter crisis that just occurred. Before any strikes were happening, what were we seeing? We were seeing 91-year-olds on chairs for 24 hours, people in the car for how long, having appendicitis surgery. So this is a problem that predates any strike. So I think we can't just pin it down to this. This is a problem that's been going on for at least maybe 10 years. I mean, as far back as I remember being a junior doctor.
Yeah, just give us a sense of what it's like being a junior doctor in this country.
Okay, so I think, look, Adam Kay made this TV show. Lots of people liked it. It's pretty accurate, I would say. I think it is a little bit dramatized. However, what I would say is you are overworked, and I would dare say I think we are underpaid. But at the same time, it's a great job to do. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's a real service to people. But at some point, the cogs stop turning, and we have to look at, is the NHS surviving in the status? Every single year I've worked in the NHS, I've heard winter crisis, winter crisis. In 2023 alone, we had end of COVID, we had the winter crisis, and now we've got junior doctor strikes. And look, I would say to those people, okay, you don't believe the junior doctors. Do you believe the nurses? Do you believe the physios? Do you believe the ambulance people? Because they're striking too. So we do get into this with a genuine.
There is a lot of public support, frankly, for the NHS, for what the doctors, the nurses, for what the medical staff, health workers are going through.
Absolutely. I mean, what I've seen, and anecdotally, people are supporting junior doctors. I want to add something to this, though. People seem to forget the bigger picture. Let's forget the strikes for a second, as hard as that may be. Look at the context of the NHS and look at the trajectory over the past 10 years. Which direction is it going in? Now, taken to the fact that the consultants are going to be balloted or have been balloted, what will they do when they are seeing junior doctors strike? And they're backing junior doctors. I think going forward, if nothing comes of these talks, isn't it possible that they've gone from 3 days, 4 days, and may go to 5 days? Will consultants join in?
I've just got 30 seconds, but I want to ask you, are you concerned about this exodus we're hearing about, that junior doctors are being forced to take jobs elsewhere in places like Australia, New Zealand?
Absolutely. There is a massive exodus. The morale is the lowest I've ever seen it. There has been a massive exodus of doctors going to Australia, New Zealand, Canada. I've been offered work in the Middle East, Canada, for half the work, triple the pay. My roots are here, so I'll stay. But that's not the case for a lot of people. What has happened in the past 10 years, if doctors have left, the workforce is not there, what will happen in another further 5 years on top of all of these other problems?
Yeah, and these strikes are carrying on for another couple of days. Thank you so much, Dr. Sami, for sharing your thoughts here on the program.